George Louis Borges was an Argentinian writer. He was born about 1899 and in Buenos Aires, and described here by The Economist as probably the greatest 20th century author never to win the Nobel Prize. He's a literary spellbinder whose gripping tales of magic, mystery, and murder are shot through with deep philosophical paradoxes. And this book here, it's called Labyrinths by Borges, is a collection of short stories. There are lots and lots of short stories in here, probably about 50 of them in this small book. So they're not very long. They're only about 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pages long for each one. And each of them has this characteristic that they will provoke you and make you think along areas and lines which you've never thought of before. These are stories which are based upon paradox, on unusual circumstances, strange thoughts, ideas of horizon building ideas which you have never crossed before. So this is a book then which I would strongly recommend for not for looking at human relationships or for gaining an insight into personality, but rather in expanding your mind with ideas that maybe you hadn't thought of. Let me give you one small reading from this. This is The Library of Babel by Borges. The universe, which is others call the library, is composed of an indefinite and perhaps an infinite number of hexagonal galleries with vast air shafts between, surrounded by very low railings. And from any of the hexagons one can see interminably the upper and lower floors. The distribution of the galleries is invariable. 20 shelves, 5 long shelves per side, cover all the sides except for 2. Their height, which is the distance from the floor to ceiling, scarcely exceeds that of a normal bookcase. And one of the three sides leads to a narrow hallway which opens onto another gallery, identical to the first, and to all the rest. So you have these hexagonal areas of books going on and on and on and on in infinite directions. He says the library exists ab eterno, an eternal library. And what you find as you start to look at this is a very strange library. It's a very unusual library because on each of the book it contains every letter of the alphabet in every combination that you can put together, so that you have an inexhaustible supply of every letter in every combination in every book. So every book represents a different combination of letters of the alphabet all put together. And if you go ab eterno, to eternity, then you will find that this collection must contain within it every single book which has ever been written, because one of those combinations will be the works of Shakespeare, or the poetry of Milton, or 1984 by George Orwell. Some combination of letters will be a particular book. And then when you think about it more fully, you'll find this particular library must therefore contain every book that's written, and also every book which is yet to be written. It must contain not only the past, but also the future. And it contains many more things besides, all of which Borges starts to explore in a short story like this. Well, it's a mind-expanding story, and it's one which makes you think. All the stories will make you think in some way, and they'll always be able to provide you with a new horizon from which to cross over. So I recommend this one to you. Georges Louis Borges and Labyrinths.